Deadlock got an unannounced kind of surprise update today with a couple of community suggested changes to heroes, a new sound effect, and a new rumored game mode. Hey everyone, this is Connor here at Deadlocked, and I want to go through all the changes in today's patch. And I also really want to spend some time talking about this rumored internal game mode that has been put in the game's files, and talk about the last time that we talked about new game mode rumors back in 2025. But before we get to those game mode leaks and talk more about the internal game mode, I do want to show off these animation changes to heroes. So Mina's parry is now this umbrella, which looks like it was a community suggested thing. I'll kind of provide a link for that as well so you can see the original source of that. And the same thing also is new with Drifter's animation. You can also see Drifter's really fast running animation here. He gets on all fours now whenever he's moving quickly. Actually takes a lot to get into this to be able to proc that, but if you are speeding around on Drifter, he'll now run around on all fours. The last one you can kind of see right there, it's just a quick change to the sound a soul makes whenever you deny one versus claiming one of your own. Just a slight change, but there is a different audio cue now for that particular effect. But the thing that I want to spend quite a bit of time actually talking about is this kind of leaked internal mode that Deadlock UA posted today on X. I want to go over their claim, Minesweeper's response, and then also go back to what we've talked about in terms of game mode leaks in the past. This is not the first time we've talked about a leaked game mode in Deadlock, and so if you've not been following the channel for a while, you may have missed it, so let's get right into all that. So we'll start with this new internal mode claim from Deadlock UA. According to Deadlock UA, Valve is planning to add a PvE mode to Deadlock. It will likely consist of missions where you have to fend off waves of a new enemy type. These missions are somehow tied to the game's lore and will take place on smaller contained maps. By completing these missions, players will be able to earn character skins. And this was posted without really a true source, but there was a screenshot of the game files listed where you can see Citadel game mode _ internal is there as well. Minesweeper responded to this with a screenshot from someone on Discord whose appearance has been made anonymous. Deadlock might feature something similar to PvE, but it will be tied to skins, something like missions where you have to defend against waves of a new enemy type. This is somehow connected to the game's lore, kind of like missions set in small locations. This looks like maybe the message or the quote-unquote source that Deadlock UA is talking about here. I don't know what it'll be tied to, but they mentioned it in a recent survey. Don't share this. Always a tough thing to see that apparently whoever was messaging with this person went ahead and decided to share it. But in any case, this is one of those. It kind of, we talk about a lot on this channel, kind of the difference between a leak or a true like source report and a rumor. That still feels like somewhat of a rumor to me. I mean, there's no verification, there's no like proven breadcrumb trail to a reliable source here, at least not one that I can make out. I mean, Minesweeper talking about it is interesting. If it's a claim that maybe he received, maybe this is something we can take a little bit more seriously. And Deadlock UA has posted things that have been true in the past. This is not like a knock on anyone who's posting's credibility, just something we have to proceed with some caution, especially because this is not the first time we've heard about this. So I've actually made a couple different videos in the past about game modes that were rumored at the time. The first one comes from August of 2025 when Gabe Follower kind of leaked that there was an escort game mode coming to Deadlock potentially, where you were escorting an NPC somewhere, kind of like a combination of VIP and payload game modes. Then we also made another video in early September of 2025, kind of going off a post from Deadlock Project 8 with a lot of different predictions, one of which being that Deadlock will have separate game modes, currently 3 of them being planned. And I say that we should proceed with caution with the most recent claims about the internal game mode, not because any of it's not true, not because any of it's not actually being worked on, but it's because there's probably been a lot of different things worked on with Deadlock as it's still in this extreme early access period. So especially when you go back to like August and September of last year, that's, I mean, what, 6 to 7 months ago. I cannot believe I just said that, but that the game is in such a different spot at that point in time that it's, again, we're just looking at a very different development picture, and one where devs were probably still trying to figure out what those next steps were. And again, we all know Valve likes to, they never really throw something away or fully scrap something. So these are probably just ideas that continue to be mulled around in the barrel for what could be coming next. But in any case, these leaks are compelling. They are interesting to talk about and look at. We've talked about some leaks even prior to this about some new rooms being added to the hideout. That's always something that I thought would be coming down the pipeline anyway. And again, we've talked about these different maybe locations across the map where you might run into different NPCs kind of representing different characters, and that being a way that the game's lore gets expressed. That could very well fit into something like this. You talk about those little locations. Maybe these are a PvE mission in the Baroness. Maybe they're a PvE mission at I think it's Blackmore Academy, the school Apollo and Graves go to. Maybe something at OSIC. There's a lot of different little locations within the Cursed Apple still to explore, and it really does seem like that's going to be kind of the way that devs communicate the game's lore, is to take you to those locations and have you experience some kind of story moment. So if that's the case, if those kind of leaks continue to kind of pile up and maybe even make it to the live server, and that's how we do see the game's lore expressed. That's something I would be stoked about, whether it's this internal mode or something else. Either way, I'm just excited to see what devs continue to cook in this game. But in any case, let me know what you think of today's changes, the animation changes, the game mode news. I mean, there's a lot on the table. There's a lot of recent leaks we've talked about what could be coming next. Matchmaking changes, hero remodels is something I've talked about. A lot of new things on the horizon for Deadlock. Either way, I'm always stoked to see what it might be. But in any case, thank you all so much for tuning in. From our house to yours, we'll see you all next time here at Dead Unlocked.